Hey, I'm Michael Bell. I am the owner of Dallas Half Acre Farm. I'm a part-time farmer, full-time elementary PE teacher, looking to retire in the next 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. And at that point, I will go from part-time farmer to full-time farmer. And I love this space so much.
I'm Diego, Diego, and I talk about small scale farming in a profitable way. Today on Modern Grower, we meet a teacher who spends his mornings before school tending to his crops, his weekends harvesting premium salad greens, and one who's built a thriving business selling directly to neighbors, all without farmers markets, debt, or even running water. It's 4 a.m. on a Tuesday, and while most of Dallas is asleep, Michael Bell is already at work, headphones on, moving methodically through rows of vibrant lettuce. This isn't an early start to his day job teaching elementary physical education. This is his side hustle, one that brings in around $1,400 a month, working just 20 hours a week.
I work out every day and hang out with my kids. I think people waste a lot of time. There's 24 hours in a day. You work 8, maybe 9 hours at your job. That leaves you 15, 16 hours a day. You sleep 8 hours, you still have 7 hours left in a day. I would go insane if I had to watch 7 hours of TV. My farm's 6 minutes from my house. It's halfway between my school and my house. I go to my farm at 4 in the morning. I leave at 6:30. And there are so many days when I'm like, I think I'm just going to call and tell them I got a flat tire and just stay at the farm a few more hours and work because I enjoy it so much.
Like many market gardeners, Michael was inspired by the farming content that he found online. But his journey into farming has deeper roots that go back to his childhood.
My grandma passed away 18 years ago. She was the one that got me into gardening and growing stuff since I was 5. That was me and her thing to do together. Instagram's great. YouTube's great. Like, hell, I learned how to farm from Curtis on YouTube. Like, I always grew stuff, but I learned the business model of lettuce and salad mix and salanova, all that from Curtis on YouTube.
But Michael has decidedly taken a different approach than other small-scale farmers. While others rushed to farmers markets and sought restaurant clients, he developed a delivery model focused on simplicity and sustainability.
Farmers markets, I think people depend on them way too much. I'll just get in a farmer's market and I'll sell everything that I have. There's been people that have been there 10, 15 years that are just scratching by, and now you're going to come in. Just because you come in doesn't mean there's a 20 or 25% increase in customers. It's that same number of customers. Now you're just splitting the pie with other farmers.
The secret to Michael's success isn't flashy, it's focus. Rather than growing dozens of varieties, he concentrates on just a few crops that he knows he can consistently produce and sell.
I pick 3 to 4 crops a season, and that's it. That allows me to focus on those 3 to 4 crops. Because what I've learned, and experience is the best teacher, is once you figure out salad mix, onions are easy, carrots are easy, tomatoes are pretty simple.
For Michael, less variety means fewer headaches, more consistent quality, and a simpler growing operation that he can fit easily into his limited time, all without sacrificing income. The traditional community-supported agriculture, or CSA model, asks customers to pay up front for the entire season, sometimes hundreds of dollars. While this provides farmers with crucial cash flow, it also creates immense pressure to deliver week after week, regardless of the conditions. Michael's solution? Flip the CSA script.
I call it a CSA basket. The difference is I don't take money up front. I don't sell shares and I don't sell anything up front. What I do is whatever I have to harvest that day or that week, I harvest and I put in a little basket that I bought from the dollar store. I don't want the stress of me having to produce for you. And if something happens, like tornado comes by and tears my farm apart, which it almost did 2 years ago, I don't want to have to refund you money. And I hate taking people's money and not delivering what I told them I would. Plus, I like the weekly cash flow.
Instead of seasonal subscriptions, Michael's customers pay weekly for what they receive. Deliveries happen on a bi-weekly basis with customers grouped geographically. His marketing approach is remarkably simple. Word of mouth amongst his colleagues in the school district.
I teach in a very big school district. It's just south of Dallas in Duncanville. There's 13 elementary schools and 12 middle schools, and the third largest high school in the state of Texas is my school district. And I've been here 9 years. I know a ton of people. I deliver to a different area 6 days a week. Every day of the week is a different delivery area. I've put like 6 people on Tuesday night is across the highway from me. Wednesday is my administration building that I teach in Mesquite.
This system solves several problems at once. It eliminates the upfront financial barrier for customers. A lot of them don't want to pay hundreds of dollars before they get anything. It reduces pressure on Michael to produce every single week. He sells what he has available, and customers pay for that at that time. And it creates a rhythm where customers actually anticipate his deliveries rather than feeling overwhelmed by them. Customers are buying what they want, not signing up for something in advance, and then just receiving a whole bunch of produce that they don't quite know what to do with.
I learned early on, if I do biweekly, they run out of the salad in about 10 days. So instead of on day 7, they're like, oh God, we've got to eat this salad, honey, because Mike's bringing more tomorrow. Like, I want them to look forward to it. So I would rather on Wednesday, they'd be like, hey, this is the last of the salad. Mike will bring some more on Sunday. You give them 3 or 4 days with none of your produce, and they're looking forward to it.
His delivery system is remarkably low tech. A group text alerts customers when he's on his way, and most payments happen via Venmo, or it's cash left under the doormat, old school style.
I charge $20 a basket. If it's a really big basket, I charge $25. I've never had anyone complain about the price. I tell people you will get the same amount of produce that you would get if you went to Whole Foods or Sprouts or these organic stores.
In an industry where startup costs can reach tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, Michael's approach is refreshingly lean. His focus on simplicity extends to his infrastructure and equipment. Even his land acquisition was unconventional.
When I say that I wrote a check, I paid $7,500 for it. It's a half-acre lot, 6 miles from downtown Dallas. Sounds crazy cheap, and it is, except it's zoned non-residential. So it has no value to 99% of the people there. Like, you can't build a house on it. I don't have electricity on it. I don't have running water on it. So it's not that big of a splurge. I don't have a wash pack, and I only have an outdoor refrigerator. I have a refrigerator in my garage. And it's the old refrigerator because we bought a new refrigerator. And I just took out all the shelves.
By harvesting daily and delivering the same day, Michael eliminates the need for conventional cold storage. And because his greens are grown undercover in tunnels and using drip irrigation, they stay clean enough to skip washing, saving time, infrastructure costs, and extending his shelf life. He doesn't have a wash pack station. I still can't get over it and still can't quite believe it, but it's smart and it works in his context.
I don't wash my lettuce because it's underneath a tunnel, so it doesn't get dirty. Everything's on drip. It's never dirty. And I always tell my customers when they start, I was like, hey, give that a good rinse. It has not been washed. It's not that dirty. And it'll also stay fresher for way longer if I don't wash it.
Even his approach to transforming raw land was creative and cost effective.
So I went and bought 5 20-foot by 80-foot long billboard signs. And that's what I used to cover the ground in July and August to get rid of the grass and everything that I'd chopped down. And amazingly, it worked perfect. I think it's also because Texas is 100 plus degrees in July, August, and half of September.
The numbers here tell a very compelling story. With about 35 to 40 customers per week, paying around $12 to $15 each for their bags of fresh produce, Michael brings in approximately $1,400 per month. That's roughly $17,000 annually from his part-time farm, all while working just under 20 hours a week around his full-time job. The numbers are impressive, but perhaps what's even more impressive is how he's grown his operation over time.
Off summers, that's where we as farmers tend to make a ton of money is during the summer. So realistically, I'm hoping to make 10 grand this summer. That's my goal, to make a couple of $1,000s May, June, July, August, and September. I haven't put one dime of my school teaching money into my farm in 5 years. If you look at my farm now, I've got a 130-foot cat tunnel, and I just purchased and put up a 30 by 100 high tunnel. I bought it used, put it up myself, and I've got like $5,000 in it, but it's completely paid for.
By reinvesting his profits instead of taking on debt, Michael's built a farm that's completely self-sustaining, a rarity in modern agriculture. No debt gives you so much freedom, both financially and mentally. As Michael prepares for retirement from teaching, his farm is positioned to scale up dramatically without requiring significant initial investment or land. For Michael, the retirement math is clear.
The biggest thing for me with farming full-time, believe it or not, is insurance. I carry my kids on my insurance. And if I quit teaching and farm full-time, me and my 3 kids have to go on my wife's insurance, who is also a teacher. That's going to cost us $850 a month. Economically, before I even start farming and have any bills, I'm starting in the hole $850. I could double it easy. Simple. And probably closer to triple. I actually live outside of Dallas in a subdivision with 600 homes. There's 600 homes in my subdivision alone. Across the highway from me is a 2,000 home subdivision. I don't even have to go more than a mile from my house, and I could probably sell to 100 people a week. Is a half acre enough? Yes, without a doubt. Plenty of people that makes a lot of money off of a very small piece of land. I know for a fact that I could make as much as I'm making teaching and probably a lot more on that half acre if I could devote 40 hours a week to the farm.
This is scalability by design. Michael started with just 5 customers. That's right, 5. We can all start with 5. I'm sure we can all find 5 people to sell stuff to. So don't feel pressured to start with 50 or 500. Start with 5. That's where Michael started. He started with those 5, and then he methodically expanded his systems as his confidence and experience grew.
And right now I have 25 people that I've guaranteed weekly baskets to starting the first week of May, maybe earlier if we don't get a cold spell. And I've got another 20 on a waiting list. They're like, please let me know if you have anything extra. I'll take whatever you have.
Beyond direct sales, Michael has developed additional income streams through consulting and soon a book aimed at helping others replicate his model.
Farming also opens up other opportunities like consulting. I make pretty good money consulting on the side, doing exactly what I'm doing with you, is just explaining how I did it. Maybe one day somebody listening to this starts their own farm and they tweak something, they change it, and now they can help other people get started too with consulting. Or they can write a book, or they can do public speaking. I've done several public speaking and hope to do that more in the future.
Perhaps the most powerful aspect of Michael's approach is how it reframes what success means in farming and in life.
What am I going to do the next 30 years of my life? What am I going to do? And this is a perfect thing. Most people that have a garden that's grown up growing stuff, or even if they haven't grown up stuff, at 50 years old, they can start a new career. So let's say you're retiring, you're bringing home $3,000 a month. That pays my bills, but it's cutting it close. What if you started your own farm? And instead of saying, I want to make $50,000 a year, what if you said the first few years, I just want to make my house payment, which is $1,000 a month. And when I'm 50, if I don't want to teach anymore and I want to farm full time, financially, I'll be able to. And that's all I think about is not today, not tomorrow, not next week. But when I'm 50, I get to spend the last 30 years of my life doing exactly what I want to do every day for the rest of my life. And I'm willing to give up these next few years to do that.
It's a philosophy that questions the bigger is better narrative that dominates American agriculture and modern business. As the sun rises fully over Dallas, Michael wraps up his morning farm work and heads to school where he'll spend the day teaching PE. His hands still carry traces of soil and probably a little bit of scent, which isn't a bad thing. Soil smells good after all. It's man cologne, connecting his 2 vacations in a tangible way.
There's days Texas gets up to 105 regularly. And that first summer that I bought my property, that first summer was probably the hardest summer of my life because I was literally out there 8-9 hours a day with a weed eater and cleaning and hauling. And the whole time, and my wife's still pissed at me 4 months later. She's still mad. Patience. That's all I think about. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. But when I'm 50, I get to spend the last 30 years of my life doing exactly what I want to do every day for the rest of my life. I tell people if I won the lottery, I'd still go to my farm tomorrow. Now I would call you and I'd have a paper pot transplanter and I'd have all this really cool stuff, but I'd still go to my farm and farm. I absolutely love it.
In a time where farming failures seem to make more headlines than the successes, Michael Bell at Dallas Half Acre Farm offers a refreshing counter-narrative, one built on starting small, focusing intensively, avoiding debt, and growing at a sustainable pace. For Michael, the rewards go far beyond the money.
So rewarding when people buy your stuff. I have people tell me all the time, Mike, my lettuce has been in the fridge 2 weeks and it's still fresh. Why can't the grocery store do that? I have this concept that I want to encourage other people to do exactly the same thing that I do. Like, I don't want to be rich, but I don't want stuff. I would rather take 10 people in the Dallas area and get them to do what I'm doing and that they truly love to do. And we have an effect on the local food market.
As Michael prepares for his transition to full-time farming in the coming years, he continues to refine his systems and share his knowledge. His story challenges us to reconsider what successful farming looks like today in the 21st century. Not necessarily bigger or more complex, but perhaps smaller, more focused, and ultimately more sustainable, environmentally and financially. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know in the comments below. I'll be back next week with another video. Until then, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.